Welcome to Bible Answers. The question today is: a friend of mine recently had her dead son appear to her in a night dream and speak to her about many personal things. Is this not evidence that the dead can come back and speak to us? The Bible refers to death as a state of sleeping. Jesus says, "Lazarus sleepeth. I go to wake him up." And the disciples thought he was talking about literal sleep, but he was speaking about his death. So he said to them plainly, "Lazarus is dead." And when he woke Lazarus up after 4 days in the grave, he was already decomposing. So Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And he is the one who has life within himself and can give it to others. But death is a state of sleep. Daniel is told finally that he will go his way, he will rest, and he will rise at the latter time. Now, the state of death is something that we have to study from the Bible, and we have to work from the simple texts to the more complicated one. We cannot base a doctrine on an obscure text. You must always work from the straightforward to the obscure. So when the Bible talks about the blood of Abel crying out from the ground, does it mean that the blood is literally crying, or does it mean it in a metaphorical sense? Obviously, it's not literal. Or when the souls are under the altar crying out, "How long, sovereign Lord, before you come and end the misery on this planet?" Are they literally under the altar? If they were, they would be most miserable, cramped up in that position. Obviously, their blood, like Abel's blood, is crying out and asking this question. If we turn to Job, and we read there in chapter 7, it says, "Oh, remember that my life is a breath. My eye will never again see good. The eye of him who sees me will see me no more. While your eyes are upon me, I shall no longer be. As the cloud disappears and vanishes away, so he who goes down to the grave does not come up. He shall never return to his house, nor shall his place know him anymore." That's pretty plain teaching. That is telling us what the state of death is. He is no longer breathing, is no longer thinking, has no cognitive function. If we read in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 from verse 4, and it says, "But for him who is joined to all the living there is hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. And they have no more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. Also their love, their hatred, their envy have now perished. Nevermore will they have a share in anything done under the sun." That's pretty plain teaching. So they know nothing. They are in a state of unconsciousness. If we read in verse 10, "Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with your might, for there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going." So Jesus taught very plainly that resurrection is the time when people come back to life. If we go to John chapter 14, that famous verse where Jesus says, "Let not your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." So when is Jesus coming to fetch those that are his? Only at the second coming. So until such time they are not in heaven, they cannot be, because he says he's coming to fetch them again at the second coming. So they are in a state of sleep. They know nothing. So if someone appears to you in a dream, if someone appears to you in an apparition, then who is appearing to you? It cannot be those who are dead, because they know nothing and they will never again return unto their home. Then it must be a demon impersonating the one. And he will have a thorough knowledge of your circumstances and your life, and he will give the impression that he is impersonating, or that he is the son or the daughter or the husband or the wife. And the Bible tells us that we should have nothing to do with spiritism. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, they have no light in them. So the Bible admonishes us to believe the word, and therefore not to believe what apparitions say or spirits say to us.